Okay, so let's be fair here. Let's be honest. Let's be realistic. The online fight over Captain Marvel has gotten a wee bit ridiculous, hasn't it? I mean, it feels like it's just ramping up for no other better reason than it's just getting closer to its release, which is still 2 weeks away. It's almost at this absolute breaking point. Either this movie is going to be a success or it's not. I'm going to go as far as to say, yeah, it's going to be a success. But again, it could fundamentally fracture the fandom in regards to the MCU. And I think that's a fair statement to make. You can disagree and that's fine. But I think ultimately, got to kind of rein it in a little bit, myself included, which is why this right now will probably be the last video I do on Captain Marvel unless something absolutely crazy happens. I give you guys my word on that. I've read the comments. I get it. I do not hate Brie Larson. I'm not a fan of her words or really her activism, but I don't hate her. I wish her well. I wish everyone involved in Captain Marvel a good opening, a good premiere, and a good entry into my favorite film franchise outside of Star Wars. Okay, so we're clear on that one. But now it's kind of spilled over into, well, it's spilled over into the DCEU, and that's gotten Zachary Levi here to respond. He actually put out an Instagram live video that someone clipped and popped up here on the Twitter sphere. So let's take a look at what he has to say and discuss it, because he's got a message for the haters out there. He really does. And I see where he's coming from 100%. So let's take a look.
There are people out there making a lot of like really inflammatory, defamatory, and completely fictitious like reviews and posts of Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, and some like trying to pit Shazam against it, and saying they're going to support us and not them because of things that they are, by the way, making up, things that they're saying they saw some screening and this, that, or the other is in the movie. That I just found this out last night, and for anyone out there who thinks you're doing me a favor, or you're doing Shazam a favor, or you're doing Warner Brothers, or what, you're not. This is not helping anyone or anything. There is no competition. Just because Shazam used to be called Captain Marvel way back in the day doesn't mean that somehow Brie or Marvel's Captain Marvel are pitted against us. We're both movies, and we're both going to be out in theaters at similar times. And the irony of that timing is really interesting for sure. But there is no conspiracy, guys. You need anyone out there who's holding on to some bone, like they need to pick a side and pick a fight, is sorely mistaken. And I really hope that you'll just chill on that. Don't go and engage in that type of behavior anymore. If you want to be passionate about either movie, rock and roll. If you want to be passionate about both movies, rock and roll. But going, this is really low blow type of stuff. To be going and lying, first of all, is just, the bottom of the barrel to me. But to be lying in an attempt to discredit or defame somebody, I think is just really sad. So.
Okay. So, he comes out, talks about the review bombing. Sorry, let me air quote that, review bombing that didn't exist. But he doesn't call it really review bombing as much as I think other people are. I think he gets what it is. People in Hollywood are fundamentally aware of exactly how Rotten Tomatoes works because their careers kind of live and die by it, to be fair, which is a completely insane amount of power to give one real shitty website. I just want to put that out there. But I get what Zach Levi's saying here, right? Levy's coming out and saying, like, listen, like, don't attack the movie. Don't try to help us by attacking that. Let's have fun. Let's all go to the movies together, sort of thing. And you could call it cringy. It's a little bit cringe because you could tell he didn't have a full grasp on the situation, or if he did, he was very much trying to allude to something else. Some could go as far as to say that he was white knighting for Captain Marvel. In fact, just because clickbait's the name of the game on YouTube, this video will be called Zach Levi White Knights for Captain Marvel. Sorry, I'm just going to be honest with you guys on that one. But the truth of the matter is, he's got a good point. You can like both, you can like one or the other, but keep it on the up and up. What I do wish he would have said though is or at least would have addressed, and I understand why he didn't, is why people are upset at Captain Marvel. It's not because there was like a leaked screening, although there are certain things on Reddit that are saying that plot has been leaked out and it's not good and things along those lines. And I won't know until I see the movie in a couple weeks, and I'm not going to try to speculate on that until I see the movie. Just be from that particular perspective. I don't want to go into it with that particular mindset because it's not hard to alter someone's approach to this if you can phrase it in enough of a way. And that's kind of what, again, what we've seen on YouTube and you know, I'm very self-aware of the content I put out. I completely understand, you know, how some things look. And again, I've been reading the comments, and a lot of the comments are very much, you know, calling that out as well, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to talk about this, because I did find it to be funny, interesting, a little bit on the cringy side. But I think Zach's coming at it from a place of good-heartedness. You know, I think he wants both movies to be a success. Obviously, him coming off of being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe himself, so there is some loyalty to Marvel on that front. Although he has said that he's very happy that his character died, so he could then go on to become Shazam. I like that he's like, oh, well, you know, the movie, I mean, Shazam was called Captain Marvel way back in the day, but I have no idea why they're coming out around the same time. This is an interesting coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Nothing in Hollywood is ever a coincidence. But the problem with Captain Marvel is not the movie or the character, truly. It really isn't. It all does boil down to Brie Larson and what she said, and the media's protecting of her, and how they clarified her words for her, which they did, and everything along those lines. So there are people out there that are going to be targeting Rotten Tomatoes. They've targeted it for The Last Jedi. They targeted it for Avengers Infinity War and Black Panther. And those are the kind of people that are just douchey. And they do this crap. I think, to kind of point out that in all things considered, Rotten Tomatoes should not have the power that it has. Every time something like this comes up, it always boils down to, well, Rotten Tomatoes has the power. And then everyone's like, yeah, but why does Rotten Tomatoes have the power? Well, they have the power because they're given the power. It's giving it its meaning. It's giving it its control. And Rotten Tomatoes has absolutely zero interest in trying to change things for the better, because why would they? They get the traffic, they get the attention, they get the headlines. They get the money. They're in the, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Rotten Tomatoes people are the ones behind all this stuff, to be honest with you. That would make for an interesting conspiracy, wouldn't it? What better way to get people to talk about your website than to cause a conspiracy surrounding it constantly under the guise of identity politics in every movie? Okay, listen, I like Zach Levi. I like what he had to say here, getting back on point. I like what he had to say here, and I'm going to support Shazam because I want to see it. I'm going to go see Captain Marvel because I want to see it. What I hope is that in the next 2 weeks, shit starts to simmer down. But the only way for this kind of stuff to simmer down is that people legitimately on like the Captain Marvel team has to not address any of this. Like, they are walking on eggshells at this point because they have to. Any attempt to try to address this kind of criticism, any attempt to play up the whole review bombing situation from a public-facing perspective, like if Kevin Feige is asked about that on the red carpet of the Oscars tonight, it is only going to inflame the situation. It truly is. And like I said, I really don't want them to, because I would like to stop talking about this movie from this perspective. I really would. But anyway, I just want to put my thoughts out there on this one because it was asked of me as well as everything else. But your thoughts, your opinions, what do you think of Zach Levi's comments on this one? Do you think that there's any way to get the movie back on track to just being another MCU movie, or has it just completely become its own reality in that regard? And there's literally nothing we're going to be able to do until the movie comes out. We see the opening box office totals and we go from there. I am curious to know your thoughts, and I am listening to what you guys have to say. So let me know down in the comments. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out. Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. While you're here, feel free to check out that subscribe button. You know, help the channel out. Or you can watch any of the newest videos and make sure that you're caught up to date with what's going on in Hollywood and entertainment. So that way, when you're at work tomorrow, you can wow your friends with the information you learned from watching these videos. That's right. I said it. Subscribe.